So I've updated my bookkeeping checklist for FreshBooks users. The first page of it looks like this. And then if you scroll down, you'll get to a much more thorough workbook section. I've got 4 additional pages. That's what this video is all about. Oh, and my name is Kate Josephine Johnson, and my business is Heritage Business Services. All right, let's dive in. Most business owners think of bookkeeping as a nightmare, but I think that if you have some guidance and a system to follow, it will be much less overwhelming. You'll feel empowered that you are doing the right steps and realize that knowing where your business stands financially is one of the most strategic things that you can do to grow your business. I'm going to try hard not to teach you how to do any of these steps in this video. I'm just going to provide you with the steps that you need to be doing. The workbook portion of this downloadable resource will elaborate for you. It would probably be most fruitful for you to pause this video right now and download the checklist. You're going to get a PDF, but you're also going to get the URL to this Google Doc, and you can make a copy, save it to your own Google Drive, and then start to amend it, mark it up to fit your particular needs. There's a link in the description below, or you can go to heritagebusinessservices.com/weekly-bookkeeping-checklist. All right, go ahead. What are you waiting for? All right, I'm going to make some assumptions in this video. The first assumption is that I'm going to assume you don't have a big backlog of bookkeeping. This is for people who started off on the right foot by getting training from me and watching all of my videos, and you have clean books and are just looking for a regular process to follow. Or if you do have a backlog or a mess, the best money you'll ever spend is doing hourly training with me to help you move quickly and correctly through the cleanup process, or you can just hire my firm to clean up the history. But this checklist is forward-looking. It's a maintenance checklist, okay? Got it? And the second assumption is that you understand that everything below the little faint line in the left blue menu bar is the foundational stuff that you have to get in place on day one and not fiddle with it regularly. But you have a strong understanding of all of those components. And then it's the stuff that's above the faint line. It's that operational stuff that your hands will touch regularly. It's really the top part of the blue menu bar on the left side of your FreshBooks that this checklist is based on. The top part doesn't work, though, if you haven't set up your account properly. I'm also going to keep this simple because if I start giving all the tricks and the hacks, it will become too long. It won't be a checklist. It's going to be a novel. This video and this checklist are meant to help you become a sufficient and accurate user. It is not really going to help you become a power user. That may or may not come with time, but if you do want to speed up the time it takes to become a power user, spending time with an expert is the best way to do that. I'm an expert. You can access me for free once a month via the free monthly Q&A that I host. The registration link will be below. Or if you're really serious about making sure you have a strong foundation, a strong footing while you're still DIYing your books, you could join the FreshBooks office hours group that I host weekly. The best way to get more info about that is to send an email to operations@heritagebusinessservices.com with the subject line simply office hours if you want to know more about that group. So let's zoom in on this checklist. We've got 10 things on this list, and the last one here is what I call tidying things up. And those are just some above and beyond steps that you can do as you start to take your bookkeeping more seriously. That tidying up part will start to feel really valuable. So y'all, page 1 is this checklist, but then there are 4 more pages of what I call the workbook, which explains more of the technical how-to steps for each of these. So let's hit that first item. It's manage invoices and payments. So we're going to, again, work our way down that left menu bar, and it's built in a logical order. That's why we're going to hit invoices and payments first. These need to be done probably at least weekly. You might want to send invoices more regularly than that. Definitely read the steps in the workbook. But the main big trouble spots that I want to highlight are that first is do not start typing line items on an invoice. You are going to be so tempted to do that, but do not do that. You are going to select from previously created items and services, y'all. And my other warning I want to give now is that you really need to pay attention to the dates when you mark an invoice as paid. For cash basis tax filers, you need your payment dates to match the day that you got the money in your checking account. And you're going to have lots of heartache when you're doing bank reconciliation if you haven't been doing that. FYI, the keyboard shortcut for a new invoice is Shift-I. And next we move to expense classifications. My minimum standard is to complete the first 2 fields in this view, the merchant and the category. To understand what the merchant is, answer the question, who received your money when you bought the thing? And to select the category, just remember that one of my mottos that I always teach is that less is more when it comes to the number of accounts you use in your chart of accounts. Because Yes, you can customize your expense chart of accounts, but once you get it customized, you really shouldn't need to create a lot of new expense categories very often. I do point you to some more advanced techniques for expenses in that workbook that you might want to be a part of your weekly workflow. All right, next we have polish and analyze project tracking and time tracking. Some of you might be doing project tracking, and that might also include time tracking to those projects. Again, reference the workbook for the juicier details, but in general, if these features interest you, then I think you can start to dabble in time tracking and project tracking for a bit, but as soon as you do, I want you to devote a lot of time to looking at the results of your tracking efforts so you can polish any mistakes in your process right away. I see people accidentally marking expenses as billable when they are not, but you did want to track it to a client, so you tag that expense, but it's not billable. That's a problem. I also see tons of users not understanding that time tracking requires the use of really tight services list. The bottom line here is that project tracking and time tracking are really only useful tools if you go all the way with them and understand how they work, like how FreshBooks developers built them to work, not how your mind thinks that they should work. It doesn't really do you any good to track 70% of your hours to a project, and it's a futile effort if you start project tracking but only tag 7 out of 10 expenses to that project. So either hustle forward with your knowledge and learning and developing your own personalized bookkeeping workflow so that you can really go all in with projects and time tracking, or don't fiddle with those features at all. All right, how about I take a little commercial break to say that the Venn diagram overlap of people who watch this video this far and who need to be subscribed to this channel and who also need to register for the next free monthly Q&A, it's 100%, y'all. 100% of you listeners need to hit to subscribe right now and also pause this video and register for the next free monthly Q&A at heritagebusinessservices.com/help-with-FreshBooks. That URL never changes. Right, the next item is about paying yourself and paying your people. Whether or not you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, or if you're an S Corp that has to run payroll on yourself, I want you to get in the habit of regularly paying yourself. I want you to start to treat it like a recurring task that will help your business not function like a piggy bank. I'm happy to expound more on this if you need more on the mechanics of how to get money from your business bank to your personal bank account if the workbook isn't clear enough. And you're a solopreneur, but you're an S Corp, you will hopefully have a modern payroll solution, and you'll be making sure to run payroll on yourself. Probably you'll have that automated. I recommend either 1 or 2 times a month, not every 2 weeks if you can help it. I personally use Gusto for my own firm payroll. And another commercial break. If you found this YouTube channel helpful and do end up needing payroll, asking me for my referral link or using the referral link embedded in the checklist is one of the best ways that you can say thanks to me. All right, and we've got pay your contractors and your credit card balances and bills. You need to have a regular process of how to pay any bills that you have. 2 things to emphasize here is that you should not use the formal bills feature in FreshBooks. There is a button that says bills, and it is not ready for accounting prime time. And the other thing to emphasize is that I want to make it clear that I am not meaning that you're able to actually pay bills from inside of FreshBooks. You cannot do that. FreshBooks can't push money. My preferred way to pay bills are to pay any subcontractor straight from my Gusto payroll account, because then Gusto will handle those 1099s, and 1099s are about as much fun as a root canal. And then anything outside of that, I use my bank Relay to pay bills. It's free to do that. And one of my favorite features is that you're able to have the person that you need to pay put in their bank account details so you don't have to worry about handling anyone's bank account and routing number. And Relay has a button that you can turn on to require that that vendor upload a W-9 before they get their money, which is a mind-blowingly good feature. If you want to use Relay, I'm a totally satisfied customer, and I have a referral link below. Golly, she sure is slinging referral links. And you know, it turns out it's a really fair way for her to get some compensation for the time and effort she puts into these videos. While you're paying your other bills that you have, you can also handle the next step, which is to reimburse yourself for any home office and mileage expenses if you're an S Corp. I'm just going to point you to the video and the template that I have for that part. It's in the workbook part of the checklist. This is something that you can do monthly. You don't need to do it weekly. And now it's time we get to the big mama in the checklist, y'all. The accounting tab, the step that's called Reconcile Your Bank Account and Credit Cards. It's in the accounting tab that we have the workhorse of FreshBooks. In terms of workflow, I do agree that it should be at the bottom of the menu bar. It was built with the order of operations in mind, but I almost wish like it was bold or bright yellow, because yes, we will reconcile our books, but it is way more than that. It is where we're going to put all the polishing touches on all the stuff we've been doing up to this point. So it's really important. It is so important that I cannot teach it now. I have a dedicated video where I break it down into 6 steps. Again, from an actual accounting perspective, it is the most important part in all of FreshBooks. So of course it's going to take some time to learn. Make sure you watch all of that tutorial. You honestly probably need to watch it at least 2 times if you're doing your own bookkeeping. Though, I mean, you don't have to watch it all if you want to just outsource your bookkeeping to a fractional bookkeeping firm. Hey, how you doing? The workbook is going to give you a great little subset of reminders after you've mentally processed what bank reconciliation in FreshBooks is. And always, 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 the big warning here, hit the skip button, not confirm and continue when you're drilling into your bank rec screens. Otherwise, you will end up paying me a lot of money to fix it or train you how to fix it. People using that dangerous button is one of the main reasons that I stay in business. Moving right along, another step in the checklist is that it's a good idea to transfer money to a business savings account on a regular basis. This is a great way to make sure you have money to pay Uncle Sam for your estimated quarterly taxes. You can build up that money in a separate account so that you don't accidentally think that it is money that you can spend. And if you're in the fortunate situation where that balance ever gets too high and you save too much, you can always take an additional owner's draw if you want. And be sure to pat yourself on the back when you do that, because you're running a successful business that is generating excess cash. And that excess cash is the reward for the risks that you take by being an entrepreneur. We are almost done, y'all. Stick with me. Next step is to run your financial reports. Shift-R is the keyboard shortcut to get to the report screen. Comment below if you want the one-page download of my keyboard shortcuts, and I'll give it to you. It looks like this. I have mine taped on my wall. Now, in the workbook, I gave you the sub-list of the reports that I think you need to regularly run, probably on a monthly basis. But I also left a little blank here for you to pick another report that is important to your business. Maybe time tracking is critical for you and you need to dive into it more. Maybe you need to see your revenue by client report because your goal for the year is to work on upselling to existing clients. So you want to really know that earnings per client number. I don't care. But this is the part of the checklist where you get to look at some regular reports. For folks who DIY their bookkeeping, I think you need to have about 5 critical numbers or metrics max that you pay attention to. Much more than that, and it's just going to be noise, y'all. Here's some more examples. Maybe it's gross profit. Maybe it's net profit. Maybe it's your credit card liability or your small business association loan because your main goal for the year is to pay off debt. Again, I don't care, though I'm happy to talk it through with you. Those are great conversations for the strategic support that I love to give clients as well. All right, and finally, the last bullet, tidying things up. These are some more tasks that I think could be done once a month or once a quarter. This video is already too long, so I'm not going to explain each of these items, but you can read my tidying up ideas in the workbook. All right, y'all, take a deep breath. I want you to look at me. The fact that you watched all the way to the end of this video says a lot about you. One of the most underrated elements of being a successful entrepreneur is caring about your business finances. It is really hard. You wear so many different hats in your business anyway. And the vast majority of folks who are watching this find this stuff a bit scary. They know that accounting is not their skill set, but you are acting like a serious business owner. All of this bookkeeping stuff is going to be very hard, but then after a while, after you get the hang of this checklist, it's not going to be so hard anymore. I'm proud of you. I'm here to help. I'm Kate Josephine Johnson, and I help businesses build their business legacy.